I'll start my whole commentary after the opening cutscene that's coming up here, because it's quite pretty, so I'll let you have it in peace before I start drawing. This is Dragonseeds. Dragonseeds is made by a company called Jelko in 1998. As you can see from that title screen. Jelko seems to be a pretty low profile. I haven't really heard of any of the other games they've done. They got bought by some other company, I guess, and recently they've stopped making video games. This game itself isn't really especially notable. It's one of the many Mon fighting games that came out in the late 90s, seeking to cash in on the huge success of Pokemon and to a lesser extent like Digimon and Monster Rancher. I'm not familiar with the Monster Rancher games myself, but I've heard tell that this is most in that vein, rather than borrowing from Pokemon or Digimon. It borrows the most from Monster Rancher. The gist of this opening, story-wise, is that you're a dragon trainer and you're newly arrived here, and we're about to meet the closest thing this game has to a big bad. But that's our dragon. The dragon that we have currently, that you're automatically given at the beginning of the game. And obviously evil, intimidating goatee man right here, Count Wazanak, wants to have a battle between our dragon, our little baby dragon right there, and his own fearsome monstrosity who is twice the size. Which is completely ridiculous, and it's a tutorial battle. You can refuse his request for a battle several times, but in the end he will give you no choice and insist that you battle because the game needs to tell you how to operate it. Poor, hopeless, outmatched baby dragon, whose name we never learn. It's a supposed to lose fight. There's no way to win unless you game shark it. You put on an invincibility cheat. However, if you do, the game still proceeds as if you lost. Enter 2 commands to input per turn. You can block with your shield, called a reflector. You can attack with your sword or with your special breath projectile weapon, just like that. You can also move back and forward. There are different ranges. Projectiles work from any range, but can be blocked by the shield. sword attacks can only work at close range. You can check your range distance up in the top radar thing. So there's just far, medium, and close. You cannot actually hit the edge of the arena. The distance thing is only relative to your opponent. There is no edge to the arena. So you can theoretically keep backing up infinitely if your opponent advances at the same time that you back up. So this battle helps you get accustomed to the controls. It also introduces one of the main features, I guess, of the game: permadeath. Our dragon is dead. Our introductory dragon always dies. And anytime a dragon loses all of its HP in battle, it is dead forever. And you have to start all over again with a new dragon from the clone lab. It's not a game over, it's just you have to start all over again. Which is what we're going to do here. And as Mr. Nasty Goatee Face Guy says, we go to the clone lab to make another dragon and start all over again. Love this music. This music in particular, though the whole game actually has pretty good music. For the bulk of this Let's Play, I will just be using the dragon that we're making right now. Dragonseeds is a non-linear game. Most of the concessions to story have already happened. There's not really a plot, so it's more open world. There's not really things to unlock. It's just a series of tournament fights, basically. That's what the whole game's built around, and raising your dragon to be the best at fighting in those fights. So I'll take you through a main run-through of all of those fights, and I'll also show you some extra stuff. But since it'll just be the one go-round through all of the ranked fights, I'll just be using this dragon that we're about to make now, who will look just like the one we just lost. The first thing you do when you're choosing a dragon to clone is you select the species. There are 6 species initially available, and you unlock 2 more once you've won your first championship. So there's Saurian, which is the kind we'll be making, and the kind that we just had. Winged, a beetle, a wasp, a crustacean, and Natura. Only Saurian and Winged actually look like conventional ideas of dragons. The others are just monsters that people call dragons. Anyway, this is the part where you select a 2-part phrase. I select The Past is Rising. There are a couple of different combinations you can choose, but The Past is Rising seems to be a combination that most facilitates strong stat growth. Different combinations do different things. Some affect the type that your dragon will be when it's born. Typing as in elemental typing. There's fire, aqua, and storm. Fire beats storm, storm beats aqua, aqua beats fire. Fairly straightforward rock, paper, scissors. And I take entirely too long deciding on a name, because I'm bad at naming things, and I don't know why I didn't plan this out in advance, but at least I cut some of the waiting time out for you guys. Eventually I've settled on the name Danny, because, 3 guesses what show I'm excited to watch come back on my television screen tonight. Even though that's not the name of one of the dragons, but whatever. I was not running on a lot of sleep when I played this run. Then you give it to this guy to raise for the first year of its life. He mentions that a day for humans is a year for dragons, even though that doesn't seem to actually be proper measurement. It's because dragons tend to die when they're in their 40s, or before they hit their 40s. That's a bit strange. So these are the 6 attributes that your dragon has that you can pick 2 of them for him to improve Muscle, speed, and special are all battle-based stats that you can improve later, so we don't focus on that. Wisdom affects evolution, I'll get into that later. Weight and HP are the two I select. Both weight and HP increase when your dragon is resting. With HP, that's a good thing, but with weight, that's a bad thing because it adversely affects your speed ranking. Again, I'll explain what speed ranking does later. Time progresses in 3-hour increments in Dragonseeds. You can do, if you go to do a thing, it takes you 3 hours. You rest at your apartment. That's the resting thing I was talking about. So for this part, since you can't do anything really without a dragon, just rest until the next day, and then we go to pick up our dragon. So, like I said, looks just like our poor unnamed fallen buddy. So now we need to get this guy equipped so that he can, be ready to fight. And there are 2 places where you can buy things here. And there's the shop and a junk shop. And they sell completely different things. The shop is going to be your main port of call. The junk shop is not always open. It varies from 3-hour period to 3-hour period, and what it carries also varies. The same is slightly true also of this nice lady, Nancy. Her shop, her stock varies somewhat, but she will always have some things available. So for weapons, the S next to weapons refers to small, and then there's medium and large for baby dragons, adult dragons, and senior dragons. Power refers to the power of the weapon, luck refers to its chance of scoring a critical hit, and weight adds on to your dragon's weight to counteract the speed factor. For reflectors, again, small, medium, and large. The reflect refers to how many times you can reflect an attack as opposed to blocking it, and the reflect percentage refers to how much of the damage gets directed back to the enemy dragon. And now we go to the junk shop, run by crusty old man Ashoka. The junk shop is, as I said, not always open, varies from 3-hour period to 3-hour period, and what it stocks varies enormously. Mostly it stocks stat boosting items, but sometimes you'll find really rare and impressive shields and weapons, only in large size. Those are all too expensive for us to buy at this stage anyway, so let's just go to the training center with this nice, scantily clad woman who will train our dragon. Man, I'm looking forward to How to Train Your Dragon too. So much good pop culture with dragons. Fee is 10G, it's 50G for adults and 100G for seniors. There's 3 exercises, muscle, special, and virtual. You can only do 1 per visit. Let's start with muscle training. It's basically a timing game. You choose between 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 seconds, and then estimate at what point the candles reach the center, and then you press the O button, and I think it's pretty self-explanatory. And 1 candle cut gets you 3 points, 2 candles gets you 5 points, 3 gets you 10, and you get 3 goes at it, and your total points will be the variable that is added onto your dragon's muscle rating, which affects their power with a weapon. Obviously, this game is very easy to cheat because you can just use a stopwatch. Special training. The 3 tiles shift different positions faster and faster, and then once they're done, they disappear, and she asks you to name the last position that one of the 3 tiles was in, and if you guess correctly, you get points. And again, 3 turns. It's pretty straightforward. I never do it, really, because I don't really need to, with my strategy, I don't really need to improve my dragon's special rating. Special rating predictably affects the power of the dragon's special attack, their breath weapon. Which you'll see, once you see my strategy, you'll see why I don't really make use of it. So yeah, not much to say about this exercise. Virtual training is just a normal battle, except there's no way for your dragon to be harmed. There's no permadeath if you lose all your HP in this battle, because it's basically just a virtual battle against a clone. It's a mirror match. Or not a clone, a visual projection, I guess. This is the only one of the exercises where you can improve speed as well as muscle and special. The way you improve stats in this game is muscle improves when you successfully hit the opponent with a sword attack. Special improves when you successfully hit the opponent with a special attack. And speed improves when a dragon attacks you and the attack doesn't land. For example, like that, if a dragon uses a sword attack but you're out of range. Speed impacts the random chance that your dragon will dodge sideways out of the way of an opposing dragon's attack. This is only ever triggered randomly. You have no control over it, except to make your dragon's speed as high as possible so that there's a greater chance of that happening. Because it'll save your butt in a lot of instances, especially since your dragon will only dodge like that. That's a dodge. It will only dodge an attack that is not being blocked. Like if you're blocking an opponent's special attack, the dragon will never just dodge that so that your blocking was redundant. Oh, and our opponent's attack being like yellow-red instead of blue back there right after it dodged is because that was indeed a critical hit. Strangely enough, your shield cannot be used to block sword attacks. Those always hit as long as you're close range, for some reason. In fact, that's a tactical thing, because if two dragons are in close range and one of them uses a sword attack, one of them uses a special attack, the sword attack will not only hit, but it will interrupt the usage of the special attack. The strategy that you'll see me using in this Let's Play is an extremely defensive strategy that I developed. I didn't have this when I was a kid playing the game, but when I revisited it when I was a little older, I realized this was really the safest way to go about it, is start the match with a lot of using the reflector to reflect the opponent's special attacks until I figured they were out of special attacks, and then using hit and run with sword attacks until I had more HP than them, and then just backing up infinitely, and just run the timer out like this. I mean, not exactly like this, because this is a training match, and so I didn't have to play it safe, but that is, the safe way to win. I'll be showing off that strategy next video in the proper ranked tournament fights. So, see you next time.